Hi, I wanted to make this video because I've been thinking. And this time I've been thinking about comparison. And the reason I've been thinking about comparison is because I was reminded recently about the quote that comparison is the thief of joy. And it got me thinking about how that subject must be quite a lot more complicated now compared to when it was probably first spoken by Theodore Roosevelt more than 100 years ago. People have access to a lot more information about each other these days, and a lot of it's probably untrue or at least exaggerated. But we're making decisions about ourselves and whether we're good enough based on those things that we see about other people. And how is anyone expected to feel joy if they're comparing themselves to younger, thinner, richer, and more successful people all the time, who seem to have life so much easier than the rest of us? And even if your own life is going quite well, there's always going to be plenty of other people whose lives seem to be going better than yours. And they're probably enjoying showing you that on social media. But surely people aren't comparing themselves to others just to make themselves feel bad. There must be something else involved. I guess for me, I'm often looking for ideas for how I might like my life to be, or for better ways of doing things. So maybe if we stop comparing ourselves to other people, we might start missing out on some interesting insights or even some good entertainment. It does make sense to me that comparing yourself to other people could make you feel miserable. If you compare upwards, you might feel not good enough. And if you compare downwards, you might feel bad for what you have that other people don't. I don't know what upwards and downwards might look like because that's going to be different for each person. I know for me, I sometimes compare myself to people who seem to have their lives really organised. Their homes are tidy, their windows are clean, there's no weeds in the garden, that sort of thing. And then I look at my house and wonder why I can't seem to keep up with everything. I do okay, I don't give up, but there's always something more that needs doing. But I guess I'm really only seeing the highlights when I'm looking at someone else's life. I'm not seeing the hidden things, like maybe they're in debt because they pay someone else to take care of everything for them, or they've been able to give up work so that they've got more time on their hands to get those jobs done. And without seeing the full details of someone else's situation, it's never going to be a fair comparison. But seeing someone else's apparent success can certainly make you feel a bit worse about your own situation. And I can remember starting quite young with comparing myself to other people. We didn't have the internet back then, but I could certainly tell that some people had better houses, a better car, went on better holidays than I did. And I didn't really understand how that happened. All the people involved seemed kind of the same, but their circumstances were all quite different. I guess noticing those differences sparks a curiosity, that you wonder what it would feel like to live in someone else's life, and wonder would it feel better than your own. And I also reached an age where I was comparing how I looked against how other people looked. And that did include people in my school, but also people on the TV and in magazines. And I can remember reading in a magazine that Kylie Minogue weighed only 7 stone. And I couldn't imagine how anyone fully grown could weigh so little. And I really wanted to look like Kylie so that Jason Donovan would like me. So I really wanted to only weigh 7 stone. Luckily I didn't do anything silly about that. But I do think it was an example of me allowing comparison to steal my own joy. And I guess the fact that the magazine was publishing her weight meant that they really were trying to do that on purpose and actually encouraging it. And I'm glad that I've become a bit more level-headed as I've got older. I still think Kylie looks great, but I'm not after Jason Donovan anymore. And even if I was, I'd go right off him if he wanted me to weigh 7 stone. I can look nice in my own way and he can take it or leave it. Anyway, I do still look at other people's houses and I wonder if I should have been able to achieve something more impressive by now. I find myself wondering how they've managed it and what it might feel like to live in an amazing house. But I guess that's what Airbnb is for, so that regular people can save up and get a taste of living in an amazing house for a week or two. I stayed in an amazing lakefront house in America once with a swimming pool and a balcony that looked onto a lake. And I got to experience what it was like to live in that house. Amazing. But without all the bills and maintenance and service charges that must come along with owning a place like that. I've never been too worried about comparing my job to someone else's. I've got a reasonably good job and I've worked my way into management, so I feel like that compares okay with anyone else. I'm not a CEO or running my own business, but it's a decent job and I've been able to keep hold of it for a long time, and it's hopefully going to set me up for a nice retirement. Another subject I've noticed that people do a lot of comparing is with raising their children. It starts right from the beginning with birth stories and then what age they start reaching various milestones, like smiling or potty training, walking, reading, writing and maths. And one of my children was quite fast with those things and the other one was quite slow. So it was a different experience each time. But they both reached all the milestones in the end. So all the comparisons seem a bit pointless when I look back now. And now the next stage in my life for comparison is retirement. So firstly, what age are people retiring, and then how much money will they have for their retirement, and therefore what sort of things will they be able to do? I'm in my early 50s and I already know people that have retired. So compared to them, I'm not doing too well. But I do have a plan in place that means I'll be able to retire by 60, if not before. And I've done the work and the planning to hopefully be looking forward to quite a comfortable retirement. So maybe compared to some other people, I'm doing quite well. And maybe using my retirement planning is quite a good example because I've been doing quite a lot of research and I've been enjoying learning from other people's experiences. But I can also see that people can have quite different expectations in terms of what they want from their retirement. And I wouldn't have learnt as much as I have if I hadn't looked quite closely at how people are choosing to live their lives in retirement. But I know that I'm not going to achieve the sort of luxury lifestyle that some people do, and I might never have known that if I hadn't looked. So maybe comparison is okay if you're just doing it for curiosity and learning, and not to try and decide your own worth. It is a good way to set yourself some goals and to motivate yourself. It's also fun for people who are quite nosy or curious about other people. I mean, I know that my mum loves finding things out about other people, but she doesn't use it as a reason to feel bad about herself. So I think for me, I will still carry on looking to other people for ideas and inspiration, but I'll also try and keep in mind that I'm not seeing the full picture, only the bits that people want me to see. So it's not out of the question that you could be the happier one, despite what other people might appear to have. And it's very likely that there will also be people looking at your life and wondering if it feels better than theirs. We've all got different values and different things that bring us joy, so rather than comparing your life to someone else's, it's a better idea to figure out what brings you joy and working on bringing a bit more of it into your life each day. So I'm going to keep working towards a tidy house with clean windows and no weeds in the garden. And I know that with each little step I take towards that, it actually does bring me more joy, much more so than comparing myself to other people. So I'd be interested to know what you think. If you want to leave a comment, do you compare yourself to other people? And if you do you think it's a good or a bad thing? So I hope you've taken something useful from this video, but I think that's all for this time. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.